Hey, what is up guys, this is Cobb, and you know what, while most rare champs are kinda crappy, some of them, just some of them, are as good as epics. Well, at least situationally, and if you don't have anything better, which is always a disclaimer I've got to put into these videos. On screen right now is the comprehensive list of all of the rare champs that we've covered so far in this happy little series. But you know what, we ain't done yet. I think we've got a couple more in us, man. Here is 8 more rare champs that you might want to take, I don't know, at least to level 50, maybe to level 60 if your account needs it. They're just pretty darn solid, and you should think twice about using these guys as food. As always, drop any suggestions for this series, any champs that we're missing and haven't covered yet that you feel are sleeper OP down below in the comments. Alright man, first champ we're gonna cover is in the Demon Spawn faction. We're gonna kick things off with happy old Abyssal. Isn't he cute? So what's Abyssal all about, man? This guy is just the definition of an all-rounder. Will you be taking him to level 60? Honestly, probably not. He's a damn good progression champ. But just because of the nature of his kit, he gets outskilled kinda quickly. That said, he will offer you almost infinite value in faction wars if you need a certain element of his kit, which honestly is super diverse, man. He's just kinda like good in everything. So the A1 is an attack all enemies with a chance, small chance albeit, of placing a block buffs debuff for a couple of turns. Already, we can see stun set. It's going to be pretty damn good on Abyssal. And honestly, any rare champ with an attack all on the A1 like this, like a spammable attack all, like Soul Bond, you know, for the barbarians, you tend to be able to just kind of smack them in a stun set and get good value from them over time, right? Secret rooms, faction wars, that kind of thing, man. So Abyssal is that guy for the Demon Spawn. The A2, a little bit lackluster, even fully bucked up. This is only going to be like, what, an 19% heal or something like that on a 310 cooldown. Not that great, not that amazing, but the A3 is another super diverse ability. It just plugs holes in your team composition, right? It's an increased defense, albeit a weak addition, and also a weak version of increased attack on all allies for a couple of turns on a 4-turn cooldown. And so, if you need these buffs in your Demon Spawn team, for faction wars or what have you, Abyssal can fill both of those gaps at once until you find a better option, right? I think most players will probably take Abyssal to level 50 and then maybe take him to level 60 way further on down the line if you've got nothing better to do and, you know, you need him for secret rooms and that kind of thing. But all in all, just a pretty tight rare, man. I like it. Real quick before we continue on, make sure that if you haven't already, you go ahead and input the happy little Game Leap promo code to get your hands on 10 free experience brews, a free energy refill, and 100k silver. In a game like Raid Shadow Legends, every little bit of free stuff counts, you know what I'm saying? And while we're at it, if you're looking to start off a fresh, new Raid Shadow Legends account anytime soon, do so by clicking the link down below at the top of the description. That promo link is supercharged until April 11th. Click it now to start off a fresh account with $100 worth of starting supplies. We're talking free epic champ, 1 million silver by the time you hit account level 25, 5 epic skill tomes, a crapload of damn good stuff. After April 11th, you'll still get a free epic champ and a bunch of free starting resources, but you won't get the 5 epic skill tomes, man. So hey, get it clicked for the best possible start to your new Raid Shadow Legends account. Alright man, on with the list. Next champ we're going to cover was actually recommended by Mr. Itzvilu in the comments. It's a Sylvan Watchers rare who goes by the name of Bowsmith Flannan. And this guy, I gotta tell you the truth, I did check him out real quick before starting recording. He's such a damn good all-rounder that I think that Mr. Itzvilu is onto something. The A1 is a double hitter with a chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Also, each hit has a small chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 5%. But you gotta read on, man, because it gets way better. If the target is under a decreased speed debuff placed by this champion, decrease the target's turn meter by 10% instead, so significantly more powerful. The A2 is where that decreased speed debuff comes from. This is Shatter Knees. It's an attack all enemies with a 100% chance, fully bucked, of placing a, albeit weak, decreased speed debuff for a couple of turns. And what's more, this A2 actually combos with the passive, which is why I think this champ gets quite serious in any kind of wave-based content. Hammer Rhythm, dude, on the passive. It is on a 4-turn or 3-turn, I guess, fully booked cooldown. Has a 50% chance of granting an extra turn when this champion places a decreased speed debuff on 3 or more enemies with the A2. Need we say any more? Honestly, pretty tight stuff, just covering that. But just to top it all off, on the A3, Bowsmith Flannan has got himself a increased accuracy buff on all allies for a couple turns, and then a team up with, albeit just 1 random ally to attack a target enemy. So, effectively a double hitter, and potentially even better than a double hitter, depending on who he teams up with. Is Flannan worth taking to 6 stars? He might be one of those mentions on this list that's more of an honorable mention that you might be wanting to take all the way to level 50, maybe not to 60, but it'll be a damn powerful level 50 at that. That's going to see you well through faction wars, and maybe even find some use in some secret rooms as well while he's at it. Honestly, just the Sylvan Watchers rares in general, like there's so many powerful So many powerful rares in this faction. I suppose it's because they're quite new and so they're like power creeping a little bit with the Silver Watchers rares, good old Plarium. But goddamn, do they have some really, really strong ones. Next up, we got ourselves a Skinwalker rare, man. One that I haven't really thought about spotlighting until now, until it was suggested by Mr. Ingolf82 down in the comments, man. He recommends good old Fleshmonger, and I gotta tell you the truth after scoping out his kit, I think he's a pretty tight finite progression champ, or is at the very least a keeper for the likes of faction wars, secret rooms, that kind of thing. So Fleshmonger is just a relentless son of a gun. That's not a hint towards putting him in a relentless set, by the way. It's just what came to mind. He's got a triple hitter on the A1 already, just a really, really good stat. No additional effects on top of this, but still, nonetheless, damn good when combined with the likes of ally attack skills, like the ones that we just covered in good old Flannan's kit. The A2 also comes in really, really big. It's a grant an extra 10 effect right off the get-go. I think that anytime you see a rare champion that has a grants an extra 10 effect going on, they automatically become sus in the best way possible, right? And your ears kind of prick up and you pay attention. It's an increased attack and increased crit rate buff on the Fleshmonger, bookable down to a 310 cooldown. All in all, pretty saucy. And the A3 is an attack all enemies with a, I think, with masteries and stuff, fully booked, 75% chance of placing that strong decrease defense debuff for a couple of turns, so not as reliable as War Maiden's debuff. But hey man, in the right scenario, this guy's just doing more outright damage himself, right, with the A1 and the A2 effects and stuff like that, than the War Maiden, so he might just be preferable in some scenarios. Again, is he the kind of mad lad that you want to pump all the way up to 6-star level 60? Definitely not an auto 6-star, but certainly one that me at least, I would be holding on to this guy, getting him all the way up to level 50 and holding on to him for future use in the likes of good old secret rooms and faction wars, man. Fleshmonger. And hey man, keep the suggestions going, boys. Keep this video series alive, you know what I'm saying? I know we're going to get to the point covering all of the best rares where we scrape in the bottom of the barrel a little bit. I'd imagine that we might get one more video out of this series before we give it a good amount of time and then revisit it in maybe, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 months from now and see what might have changed. It's also kind of funny that the thumbnail's talking about, oh, you must 6-star these rares, and 2 out of the 3 so far actually probably should only take to level 50, but hey, that's kind of just the way it is with rares, right? You use them until you get an epic champ or a legendary champ that just does the job better, so just depends on your account state, man. Quick disclaimer. That said, a rare champ that you're much more likely to take to 6 stars, if this is the strategy you're going with against Clan Boss, the poison style strategy, is good old Gravechill. In fact, Gravechill pairs extremely well with Frozen Banshee, right, who's applying all kinds of poison sensitivity debuffs, and I clicked the wrong attack, it's actually on the A3, right? So really sweet little Clan Boss team you can be using, at least for like the relatively earlier or like middle stages of Clan Boss, is combining your Frozen Banshee with a Gravechill killer, dude. Attack one enemy on the A1 with a honestly quite strong chance on the A1 of placing a strong poison debuff for 110. Not bad. It's really all about the A3, but we'll get there in time. The A2 is an attack one enemy with a 100% chance of placing a, I guess, low decrease defense debuff. I was going to call it medium or middling for some reason there, but 30% decrease defense. Also has 100% chance of placing a strong decrease defense debuff instead if the target is poisoned, which if you're playing here in the right comp, the target will always be poisoned, right? Now the A3 is where it just gets nuts, right? Attack one enemy 2 times. Each hit places a weak poison debuff for 2 turns. Alright, I mean, yeah. Places a strong poison debuff instead if the target is under a poison sensitivity debuff. And so, yeah, run her alongside Frozen Banshee, and dude, the amount of poison damage you'll be laying on to something like Clan Boss is just nuts. In fact, what do her reviews look like? She's only a 4.6 for Demon Lord? I thought it'd be a little bit better than that. I mean, I know, again, this is another one of those champs, another one of those rares, like most rares in the game, that will eventually get phased out by just better, more effective strategies and champs in the forms of epics and legendaries. But goddamn, for the job that she does, I feel like she deserves more than a 4.6, to be honest. At least if you're playing her in the right comp. Next up, we've got Dilgol of the Happy Dwarves faction. One of you guys actually suggested this in the comment, and then I just can't find the comment anymore. Don't know where it's gone. Don't know which video it's on. I'm so sorry if you've been watching this channel and it was you who commented about Dilgol, but let's cover his kit real quick, because he's such an all-rounder, dude. This is the kind of guy that, again, can help you progress a lot in the early game, right, when you're just getting your account up and running, and you kind of need a good attack champ that can just do a little bit of everything. And then he can also continue to find use as the game goes on. Secret Rooms, Faction Wars, right? The A1, it's an attack one enemy with a chance of placing a weak decrease speed debuff for a couple of turns. Not too bad, I mean, not great, not terrible, right? The A2, this is where it gets serious. A 3-turn cooldown, attack all enemies 2 times. Oh my goodness, man. Just the value of this right away is kind of nuts. Each hit also having a chance of placing a decreased accuracy debuff as well. Not bad, okay? This kind of thing, not much utility to the decreased accuracy debuff in like wave content, of course, but against bosses, not bad, you know? Not too bad. The A3 is an attack one enemy 3 times, with each hit having a chance of placing that strong decreased defense debuff for a couple turns. So basically, I don't want to say it's guaranteed to land, you know, 1 in 50 times you get really, really unlucky and it won't land, but it's kind of guaranteed, right? So this guy, I don't know, he's great for wave clear, things like spider, stuff like that. He also comes with the added utility of decreasing boss accuracy and decreasing boss defense. And you see what I mean? He's just a damn solid all-rounder, man. Next up, we got a damn good shout again from one of you guys in the comments, Mr. Malanoga11, who suggests, and rightfully so, I can't believe we haven't covered this champ yet, Renegade, man of the Knights Revenant faction with... Let's just cut to the chase, man. I'll cover the other skills too, but it's really all about the A3. Bear in mind, if you will, just pinned a picture for you. Most champions have really, really crappy A1s, right? There's some exceptions to the rule, of course, but most of them kind of garbage. It's all about the A2s, the A3s, right? Well, Renegade just lets you use those, I don't know, a billion times more often, okay? The A3, man, decrease the cooldown of all ally skills by 2 turns. Okay, this skill does not affect this champion or other champs with this skill. This champion will receive damage equal to 30% of the max HP as a cost to using this, and this will actually happen even if it kills this champion, so gotta be a little bit wary of that, right? Have some survivability on your Renegade, some regeneration, but bro, this is the kind of skill that I think if you're kind of new to the game, right, it takes a second for you to really think about it, to realize just the obscene amount of value that you can get out of a skill like this. The more powerful the champs are on your team, the more obscene this skill becomes. And as far as rare champs go, I think Renegade is the only rare in the game that has a skill like this that's just dialing down the cooldown on your ally skills like this. And yeah, just obscenely good. I actually don't even know what an A1 and an A2 do, man. Let's find out. The A1 is an attack 1 enemy with a 25% chance of placing a, wow, 100% heal reduction? Okay, so the A1 is even pretty decent on its own as well. And the A2 is an attack at random 3 times. 50% chance of placing a weak decreased speed. Places a 25% decreased accuracy debuff for a couple turns if the target has any active buffs. So honestly, even the rest of our kit is just pretty good too. And yeah, I sort of expected something like this, just sort of good everywhere. That's Renegade. Unless you've got like an Epic or a Lego that can do the job of this A3 better, then you're probably going to be maxing the Renegade, man. And finally, a champ I really did not expect to be covering on this list, but someone wants to draw attention to it. His name is Brown Sprout. So heading on into the Lizard Men, we're going to be taking a look at Skullsworn, dude. The humble Skullsworn. Is this guy possibly good in any situation? Well, let's find out. The A1, it's an attack, actually it's just a double hitter right away, with a 20% chance of placing an extra hit. And I do wonder if the level 7 and level 8 book bonuses here of the buff chance being increased by 5% directly impact this, right? So maybe it goes up to like a 30% chance of placing an extra hit. I don't know if it works like that. If it does, then that's actually pretty tight. On the A3, we have a strong increased speed buff on this champion alone for a couple turns. Also places a counter-attack buff on this champion for a couple of turns too. This is downable to a 4-turn cooldown. And of course, the counter-attack on this champ is really no joke, given that, I don't know, dude, can the counter-attack actually proc the chance of placing the extra hit? Is that a thing? If that's the case, then that's actually better than it seems right off the bat. And the passive, fills this champion's turn meter by 15% on critical hits. Fills this champion's turn meter by 50% if this champion kills an enemy. Okay, well, you can't really rely on the second part there too much, I don't think. The first part of this passive is pretty tight. 15% turn fill on critical hits. You gotta bear in mind that you'll be building this champion to have as close to 100% crit rate as you possibly can. And then you've got to bear in mind that the A1 is a double hitter with a chance of placing an extra hit. You're looking at 30% 10 meter fill per swing with a chance of a 60% 10 meter fill. Like, am I reading that correctly? Hang on. Because even then I gotta think, has a 20% chance of placing an extra hit? Does that mean you swing in again with another A1? Or does it mean you attack one enemy 3 times, you know? So is it 3 attacks or is it 4 with the extra hit? I've got so many questions with how this champ actually works, man. Either way, it's a very, very interesting little kit he's got. And to be honest, I didn't even look at Skullsworn twice when I was first starting out and just checking out what rares I've got in my collection. Maybe I'm a thing twice about using this guy as food, man. Mr. Brown Sprout actually recommends using Skullsworn for Fire Knight and Arena. And you know what? I can see that, man. If your account is super young, you just need a guy who's just going to throw in 1 billion attacks, then maybe Skullsworn is your guy. Are you going to be taking this guy up to 6 stars? Almost certainly not, in my humble opinion. As much as I love the idea of taking a champ like this that's like undervalued, you know, and his kit's like a little bit finicky, but if you can get him up and running, he becomes a little value engine that just really pops off. I love that idea. I'm just not super confident that he's worth taking beyond level 50, but hey, what the hell do I know, man? I'm probably going to take mine to level 50 and just see what kind of value he can give me. That's the beauty of having some of you guys as well throw in some of your sleeper OP picks for rare champs that you maybe take to level 50 or maybe even all the way to level 60 that you feel other people kind of undervalue, man. It actually really just helps me learn about the game, to be honest. There's a lot of champs that I don't really know exactly what they do and how they can be applied to certain areas of content. Only been playing the game for like, I don't know, a couple of months at this point, you know, so I've still got a hell of a lot to learn, man. And these videos, doing my homework for these videos really helps me out. So keep those comments and those suggestions going. See if we can get one more video out of this series, man. That'd be sweet. But now, thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking to kickstart a fresh new raid account, make sure to do so by clicking the promo link down below at the top of the video description. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later.